words singing like birds flying through spring winds, thunder clapping with rolling consonants. Their feathers echoing colors now, black or white or blue. As a ranky-dank pressing flesh beneath them was immune to trailing blues stretched out behind him. Voices that flew rhythmic as cute soundtracks through the night sweet longing, choo-chooing like wailing engines hurling down isolated tracks way out in the dead of night. Hush music around the voodoo bewitching hour bats who like words cruising from a crew of Mad Hatter, good old boys were circling inside a hush cave, where a strange blend of language was fashioning itself now from cries and screams, the whooshing of beating wings, drumming pale-male blues through the dark cinematography of a dream bordering on nightmare, as it wraps itself around you now, as it were, a cocoon. You find yourself there inside the cave of your head, and you are whatever it is you think you are there, brand new. You are what you believe in as truth. Right then, right there, when you hear sheets of sound rushing out of the bell of a saxophone, it is a stomped down cornucopia of magic spiraling out of a dream from a golden axe shaped like an elephant's trunk. The shape of need here is a question mark, bewitching us with breath, power, mystery, stealth. Is what new language is shaping itself into now, inside the neon air, hip-hopping and rapping in voice rhymes of young people. Before us right now is what the mind's ear reminds the tongue of here, chasing the sound of a freight train moving at full speed. Is a syntax, a jackety-jack of wheels rolling through the slick flow of tracks bedazzling gears. The song of it all beguiling us with amazement. The rackety-rack of steel spinning over and down rails, underground or overground tracks. The sound we hear is real when we know it, coming from the terrifying mystery of a hip shaman's horn. See the music form in the shape of a hot tongue of a big flame lighter, tonguing out gushed heat. Flames as sound, as words inside the scorched flow of lava, inside a tongue that is red, white, and blue, laced with dues paid in Philadelphia. In Hamlet, North Carolina, where a language was fractured there, congealed until it hopscotched itself to its own backbeat conundrum, before it peeled across the air, clear as a bell ringing cold on Sundays, unleashed a rage in rhythm and tempo. Heated voices in sermons became a fire there in flight, was volcanic with syllables aglow. The night flaming with embers, washing through the breeze like a tribe of fireflies swarming in the night sky. A voice pure and guttural, a primal scream, looping clues of prophecy here, blue or sweetly singing. As a slew of birds trudging across a fondue sky laced with magenta, their music heard in ringing bells as the wind frontiers melodic, as it breezes lilting language through chiming leaves, trembling like lovers in heat time when the air is all aglow and splendiferous with greens, yellows, and golds, bright reds of bougainvilleas, jacarandas fragrant as voices of doves cooing, sweet pink of flaring rhododendrons that burst into shapes of trumpet bells, evoking miles, playing muted live in memory. Clean as a whistle is where a poet stretches rubber sentences in the bridges of music now. Language reinventing itself daily out of lost and found words, constructing what it is to speak as a true American here, today, right now. Words moving through poems as magicians through parades. Clowns dressed up as birds, adverbs, adjectives, surrounding nouns with bright verb. Reminds the senses of sweet odor of Frankie-Panny perfume. Rhymes and rhythms intoxicating the system. Rhymes and rhythms intoxicating the senses. Rhymes and rhythms intoxicating the senses. Intoxicating the senses. Intoxicating the senses. Intoxicating the senses. Listen to a flock of blackbirds jammering high up in the mango tree in my backyard in Guadalupe. Listen and wonder what they're jabbering about, hidden up in shadows of twilight, approaching darkness, spreading like wings of these birds when they take flight. And that jabbering reminds me of black people gathered on corners beneath my window in Harlem in summertime, running down whatever jazzy jambalaya language they have to offer up for thought. I listen and hear their loud, insistent slap of dominoes hitting tables spiced with boasts of men, women too, who have mastered tongue-in-cheek put-downs mixed with salt and pepper wisdom, saucing up air around the game. I have always loved listening to language like this, improvising solos spit from lips, dripping syllables, popping firecracker sentences, dropping neologic words into everyday oral speech. But these blackbirds are a special case, since I can't enter the meaning of their language. Are they happy or mad, hungry or sad, making fun of humans like me, listening to them perplexed, trying to decipher their intricate jabbering music packed with jackhammer rhythms, running it down in language so high-pitched it seems close to frenzy, like they are discussing important topics relevant to survival of the entire globe. Though how would we know, since few of us even listen or hear anything we ever say to each other? So why would anyone think to listen to some blackbirds jabbering high up in a mango tree in Guadalupe, jabbering away about whatever in their jackhammer rhythmic high-pitched voices, so insistent they seem close to frenzy? Words like loud slaps of dominoes hitting tables, spiced with boasts of men, women too, full of sarcastic tongue-in-cheek put-downs, salt and pepper wisdom, saucing up the air around the game. Maybe we can decipher some secrets from these blackbirds, learn from their language if only we listen. Perhaps there is a link here, a connection where we can all locate our spirits in a common fertile space, where words and language can be a guide, a possible guide, glue the glue, holding everything together, coming from blackbirds, blackbirds, coming from blackbirds, coming from blackbirds, 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 coming from blackbirds, blackbirds, the language, meaning coming from blackbirds, blackbirds, blackbirds. Came together on the Mississippi River, Chuck. You there riding the rocking blue sound wave, duck walking the poetry of hoodoo down. And you were the mojo hand of juju, crowing the gut bucket blues news, running it down for 2 records sold to make a penny. Back then, in those first days, majoring in mouth. A long gone lean lightning rod, picking the edge, charging the wires of songs, huckabucking, roll over Beethoven, playing devil's music till white devils stole it from you and called it their own rock and roll. Devils like Elvis and Pat Boone, who never duck walked back in the alley with you, and Bo Diddley, Little Richard, and the fat man from New Orleans. All y'all slapping down songs meaner than the smell of toe jam and rock gut whiskey breath. Back there in them back rooms of Throwdown. Back there where your song lyrics grew like fresh corn. You, Chuck Berry, an authentic American genius of barbecue sauce and deep fried catfish licks, Jack Salmon guitar, honky-tonk rhythms, jangling warm, vibrating sounds, choo-chooing train whistles, fiddling and smoking down the track of the blues, motivating the little Queenie Maybelline, decked out in red on Sarah Finney in St. Louis, alarms rolling off your whipping tongue in the words of Johnny, Johnny be good, Johnny, 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 Johnny be good, Johnny, 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 Johnny be good. You clued us back into the magical hookah of ancestors. That seemed the souls threading your breath, that blood in your sluicing strut, and too much monkey business. The reason of their deaths, cold and searing your spirit, reaching down to the bones of your roots, deep in the show-me-saw, blood saw of Missouri. Your pruned hawk look profiling where you rode your white Cadillac of words, cruising the highways of language, what we speak and hear even now inside the music, breathing inside your cadences. You shaped and wheeled the music, duck walking the length of the stage, duck walk your singing metaphors of every day, slip, slide, and strut, slip, 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 slide, and strut, slip, slide, and strut. Vibrating your hummingbird wings, your strumming style, the cutting edge, and you were what was to come. You were what was to come. So hail, hail Chuck Berry, hail, hail Chuck Berry, root doctor of rock and roll, authentic American genius, tongue and deep river syllables, laying down the mojo and juju of rock and roll. Rock and roll, Rick Doctor, spirit of America, rock and roll. You, Chuck Berry, Rick Doctor, spirit of American rock and roll. Rick Doctor, spirit of American rock and roll. Rock and roll, rock and roll. I just want to say one thing. I don't talk much when we perform. We are both from St. Louis. We're both from St. Louis. He's from St. Louis. We went to the same high school. And so Chuck Berry I grew up down the street from Chuck Berry, so that's why Chuck Berry. Into space, time walks bass strings of Charlie Mingus. Jambalaya rhythms deepening our ears. Hear voices springing from tongues of Mingus, riding sweet bass strings, deep stepping through sound, through light and shadows of blood, cut out into the leaping night. Walking music swings the wind as tongues of evening caress the flying darkness. There into rhythm, tight embraces of sound, thump bass grooves, lengthening the graceful flights of cadences, shading cards of voodoo. And who doing who there? Juicing mean Watts boys, sluicing, shimmering down mean streets of the city of angels. When Mingus played a strange, disquieting beauty, turned it on, believed in whatever he thought he was back then, played it all the way here, where I am dreaming now, listening within this moment of musical amazement, walking in his voice, riding in through vibrating strings, humping and thumping like naked lovers inside musky, hot, steaming, rumpled backwater bedrooms in the afterglow of undercover damp light in the nighttime of their dreams. Mingus sky-breaking his bass through steep blue lifetimes of urban screams. Who doing what to who here? Inside the city of lights, raining tears, raining blood and blue showers, electrifying nights where Mingus walked music through voodoo, flying all the way home, thumping the rhythm. Mingus stalks the music, tone after magical tone, walks the mysterious music all the way home, tone after magisterial tone.
go to switching in the kitchen.
Rhythms be switching in kitchens when cooks work magic through pots. Out on dance floors, hips gyrate like poets constructing lines, sometimes switch and drop from proper to colloquial. New days are forever changing color, weather, voices switch back and forth up in the sky. Down here, breezes caress bodies, sashay through thoroughfares, inside language, doing whatever flip-flops it has to survive. Inside music, everything matters. A poet steps off the count, syncopating syllables, meters. The voice music falls over the edge of a cliff of chromatic scales. Shades splash bright clues as water skedaddling new diamond points imitate flush birds, spraying syllables through showering waterfalls, mist, scheming language skews, stretches, slips and slides through space. Sounds crack, ensconced rapture somewhere here. Listen to these hair-spitting ruptures politicians spew every day in sad convergences of bad flat notes. As time signatures skip to my lute through lace, grace notes bloom in poetic lines, loom post haste, push and zing the voices through sound, shimmy shingle, juxtapose in place, the poet's high energy gymnastics, hijack words, switch up in double backs, pivots, crossovers as skywalkers wing wordplays deep beyond boundary lines, where NBA gunners drop trays, pop cards created by balladic touche, body magic up inside rhyme schemes, rhapsodic. Their body music reflects light as spirits land curling through prismatic flight. Oh, tell me about it, brother. Tell me about it, Kobe Bryant. LeBron James up there in lights imitating Bird, Bebop. Well, you needn't, because great solos are tracer bullet flights, Sun Ra and Coltrane breathing solos as they zoom around space, riding high priest monks into any room they played. Brought hijinks magic for poets to play. Brought hijinks magic for poets to play. So I put a little bloom on this poetic language tip. Rip diglossic, scatology, pitch zooming in on a neologic trip, rapology, dripping words of obfuscation, philoplumes, orgasmic dolos, zip through traces of fizz on the rebound of a champagne blitz. I telescope a Hubble inside flues, constantly scope bubbles, link strings of pearls inside champagne glasses, sans clues. My attitude fed by glass rises to the top, floats over blown grass, grows like sassafras. My voice a reverberating echo inside a memory dome. I communicate with my mother, break through the fog of old age disconnect. I ask you now, brother, where's your boom box? Are your false teeth lost in a jar somewhere? Is your ego drowning inside an old piss pot? Funky as this sick war invented by chicken hawk, neocon, bushwags. And is this a early morning alarm clock going off for you? Sans hard on, a wake-up call, a tall drink of confusion? Are you a 2-watt on a demo switch, belching gas, ignorant as snuff, a moron looking for a conundrum inside a bait and switch pimp niche? But don't panic just yet, no. Run out to investigate chromatography. lapis lazuli. Do you think you might need a tad bit of Viagra to get your love thing juiced out on the dance floor? As you're listening to an echo chamber of words, what was that reverb I heard glancing off those winged syllables that just flew by? Like birds inside a sentence, laced with miles and miles of blue history, rigmarole, stitched with trumpet blasts, obligatos, odorate against past abracadabras, running like scanning doodly squats, who only drop accents and dimes on the rhythmic line, while some only drop trays from behind set screens. Which one are you, Mr. Flip-Flop? Which one of you, Mr. Flip-Flop? Slow on the crossover dribble? Kitchen is what I mean to do here. This poem's trying to do a dance on this page with words, metaphor, and reverb, switching back and forth through rhythm and time signatures, improvising through space, switching up on a dime. My lines trace words, looking for birds, winging through dirges, blue as Lady Day's words on strange fruit. Sluicing through language, this poet's traceable tip tries to put hip bloom on the rap pollock verbal trip, employing pigology, fellow plumes, fusing words to create a new syntax with no nonsense from politically correct verbs to slice and dice as I string out a proper poetic sentence. Run them into solos, hello, hello, run them into solos, hello, my voice shooting through syntax quick as a string of escaping bunny rabbits, looking for a way out of a house of glass, rising to the top like a linkage of pearl drop bubbles. I jazz sassafras, telescope bubble constantly inside the galaxy. I raise a champagne glass, offer up razzmatazz, rhythms carving out meaning inside language and images, rhythms carving out meaning inside images and language and images that just might last, that just might last, that just might last. I relived that moment once again in my mind, as I had after first laying eyes on you in that dreamscape long ago. And in the dream, you are still stunning as I remember. The spiritual beauty shining in your face was there, as radiant as when the light first caught you in my sideways glance. Then surrounded you with a Blu-ray aura, and now, as then, you are deeply inscrutable, mysterious as daybreak or sunset, the interval between those two called twilight. When our minds play tricks, fool us all the time. When what we think we see could be a mirage, an illusion, perhaps a magician's dazzling sleight of hand trick, a moment fused with sweet seduction. As when you first undressed and I saw you naked, your body supple as any I could imagine, so perfectly sensuous then, your swollen plum lips ravishing, so succulent as they still are now in this present rapture. And your tongue was lathering my imagination down, licking over the glistening honey of your pursed lips was an invitation. Your mouth open, your curling tongue beckoning my lips, my tongue to suck your peeled mango breast, standing at attention. Nipples hard, your pubic hair a mound of sweet dark moss beckoned my lascivious thoughts, focusing like a laser beam on the hot sweetness I imagined was there under that marvelous clump of dark steaming moss. It was what I remembered as I reached out to embrace you when the lights came on and the dreamscape vanished. Poof, just like that. As then, wiping out your lovely, seductive likeness, though the memory is still there, seared as a longing, a miraculous dream, a rapture, mysterious as ever, lingering as now, your inscrutable, deep loveliness, always beckoning like a drug, an invitation, so rapturous it calls out to me always, as now, when I am dreaming, you always beckon, seducing me, as now, as long as I dream. A man walks in slow motion as through a dream. Above the sky listens to blue heat waves rolling across the miracle of his deep expanse. As pulsating clove rhythms of music come and go, improvising as they please. Voices sashay through syncopated beats. Dreams suddenly appear, naked and clueless all over the globe. And time, dressed as a sleek Jamaican thunderbolt, zips quick as a blink through shotgun meter dashes, cracking like a whiplash. He flashes down chutes of white lane red train lanes on a track, shoots like a bullet through day's sprinters, bunched in an arm-flailing group behind him, dropping tears, sprinkled like bombs, detonating in their blues-drenched dreams. As they watch the thunderbolt zap to victory in awe, dashing their hopes of glory as they slingshot across the finish line. Suddenly, he is their fear, a lightning bolt flash zapping through a blue sky, deepening above thoughts of a mumbling black man stumbling like a drunk inside slobbering polemic speech where a poetic thought was just chopped off, and reminds of surprise in the eyes of a guillotine hand after the sharp blade slices it off the neck clean, and quick as a laser beam scalpel inside the black man's brain leaves him silent as a rock, looking mute at a coconut cracked open, rolling mysteriously by his feet. You play. And the moment is heavy when the blue heat wave surrounding him vacillates in its rhythms of love. Just when an oscillating storm cloud appears above, exploding the sky, it darkens the pulsating music. Then everything for the flummoxed man becomes a confusing flow. Though syncopations still come and go as they please, improvising upon rhythms of speech, the black man, the man, hears inside his frazzled brain words grooving now as beats, flashing quick, quietly, blink, quick as a strobe light. Through his thoughts, he sees the thunderbolt zap, a whiplash across the splash sky in a moment of speed. Then truth enters his spirit when he moves as through a dream, walking in slow motion as a breeze turns in, as a song in a voice. The sun breaks through clouds again, much brighter than hope. People swirling around the world in chaos feel now. Walking through a dream, the man hears music surrounding his spirit, senses his syncopation end to end through the day as cloud cars whiplash athwart a lucid blue sky. Rhythms come and go inside heartbeats as they please. Around the globe, smiles break light across people's faces, replicate daybreak cracking through night's deep longing. Enter hearts pulsating as they please, please, please. Enter hearts beat pulsating as they please, please, please. Enter heartbeats pulsing as they please, please, please. Enter heartbeats pulsing as they please, 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 please. I fucked that. Thank y'all.